people see this, they'll think it's unlike anything else they've seen before.
The moment you don't film something is the moment something really cool happens.
Wow, it leaves black marks.
I'm Jason Dearden, so I'm the team leader of the ARRMA development team here in the UK. I'm the founder of the ARRMA brand. I've been in the RC industry since the mid-90s. So I'm the interface here between the creative people that we have here and the owners of the company, which is the Horizon Hobby in Champagne. My job is to interface between those to get projects through and bring cool products to our fans. A lot of people have been taking the ARRMA 8th scale off-road cars and converting them into speedrun cars and drag racing cars and those kind of things. So our fans were, exploring in that area. Well, if you narrow yourself to off-road, then you're limiting yourself to a certain part of the market. I'm an on-road guy. Several people in here are on-road guys. So, we wanted to look at how to make on-road viable.
I'm Chris Doughty. I work as a senior project coordinator for ARRMA RC. I was the lead coordinator on the INFRACTION and LIMITLESS project, and I basically deal with projects from start to finish. Almost every single person within ARRMA had some input and were aware of the project and fed into the design. The lead designer, we had Fabian Simonini. As a style designer for the chassis parts, there's Jamie Jones, and for the body style we had Hijaz Hussain. They all played key roles in the combined or collaborated design for the vehicle.
I'm Fabian Simonini, and I'm a design engineer at ARRMA RC. Well, we started on the on-road project a long time ago. I remember we were doing some testing with just the Typhon front and rear ends on the Kraton chassis with a body shell that we picked from something we had in the storeroom at least 2 years ago. So that was way before the design brief even appeared.
My name's Jamie Jones. I'm one of the designers at ARRMA, and I work with the rest of the design team. There'd already been a prototype made by Chris and Fabian, which was a very rough prototype. He was using a standard chassis and wheels from another supplier, and it didn't have any bumpers and didn't have a body, but it was working. Once we'd got the proof of concept and the dimensions of the chassis sort of blocked out, then I started working on that. So I started working when there wasn't anything other than we knew where the wheels were, we knew where the chassis broadly was.
Well, people here call me Jazz, it's just easiest to say. I'm the designer for all the bodies at ARRMA. I usually have some input as well in terms of the styling aspects of some of the chassis design components. But as a general rule of thumb, everything you sort of see, the things that sort of draw you to the car when you initially first see it, primarily that's what I'm responsible for. Because obviously people just perceive things of whatever comes out first. They think, oh yeah, they must have copied them or whatever it might be. What people, I suppose, don't realize is, design is a long process. So it's not something where, it comes out in a few weeks or whatever. It's, I suppose in terms of what I do, it's really early. It's probably I'm coming up with body designs for things which we haven't even got platforms for.
Taking that interest that the consumers were showing, and how do you make that into a viable product that is a little bit more mainstream and a little bit more accessible to a wider audience. So we wanted to keep the ride height a little bit higher so that you didn't have to have a super smooth surface all the time, because that's a big limitation.
We don't want to limit people to do this, we don't want to make sure they can't do this. We want them to have a limitless choice.
I think also going up in size was important, because the 10th scale touring cars, they do need, there's a reason why they're less popular now, is because they need such a clean surface, they're quite small. There's more power around nowadays with brushless than there was when, in the 90s when touring cars were invented. So they're very difficult to drive. So we thought if we if we went up in size, used our platform that people are using anyway, yeah, we could make something that would be more accessible to a wider bunch of people. It would be really, really fast, and we build fast, tough vehicles, so we kind of went down that angle.
We wanted to make something that was much more than just what the customers could make. We've got the design resources, we've got the factories that can make the molded parts. So we really wanted to have something that was bespoke for the on-road, all-road application, instead of just a lowered Typhon with a different body on it. So yeah, that's where it went.
So we kind of did our research into tyres, worked out how we would make good tyres. You know, it goes in stages like that, but you start with that first idea. A road car that is accessible to wider audience, and that, if you can get that, then you've got a winning product, and that will satisfy Horizon, it'll satisfy the consumers, and it'll broaden our portfolio into, you know, wider audience.
The decision to go for a truck, it came from us wanting to mix up the on-road street genre, really. A lot of the time, touring car was the thing, the small touring cars, the street cars. It's like, we could do a car, it's a car. It's like, let's do a truck. We have heritage with trucks. The Outcast body, the modified retro stunt truck body, I actually had that on screen one time, and it's like, what would it be like with some wheels inside the fenders on it? So we just mocked up some wheels, put it under there, and it's like, wow, that looks cool. let's explore that a bit more.
It's always a mix of, you know, what people have in mind, and then from that they do the design brief, and then I'll probably always have some ideas of what can be done, and I just adapt it to the design brief that I'm given.
That's where we started to split away from thinking an on-road car. It could be a truck. And it's like, well, let's do a truck. No one's doing a truck. Do a drift truck. It's just go crazy. So yeah, that's kind of where we started to go from that. It's like we're quite famous for our ARRMA trucks, so yeah, why not have a dedicated street truck? So yeah, that's where we went with that.
We look at the engineering details and we make sure that the product's designed properly and engineered properly and is the right strength, and that's why we've got the design to be tough. If you've got a good car that's designed from the ground up, you can avoid a lot of the mistakes that some other product in the market exhibits.
ARRMA RC. Designed fast, designed tough.